Hey everyone, Ronnie Chavez here. Today we're in this beautiful grass field to learn a side flip. Now I've done a tutorial on the side flip years ago, but I think it's about time that I do an updated tutorial on the side flip. And I'm going to also include the different techniques for takeoff, including the punch, the gather step, and the one single leg kind of Webster style side flip. So let's get started. So before jumping in and learning this trick, I strongly recommend that you learn this in a gym with foam pit and padding, or into a swimming pool, or onto crash mats. Whatever you can find, it's important that you're safe learning these moves because any acrobatic move is dangerous, especially if you've never done it before. And be sure to have a friend with you so you guys can help each other and help give each other different pointers, because every perspective with any sort of new move is going to help you. Now, depending on what you're practicing this on, if it's a trampoline, then just practicing the technique is perfect. But if you're outside, then you'll want momentum going into it, because that's going to help give you more power in your rotation and your jump height. And that comes from the blocking technique. Now, I've gone over this technique before in my front flip tutorials and other various tutorials, but the basic technique for blocking is that as you bring your momentum into the jump, you're actually going to keep your chest back slightly and step your feet out in front of you, so that as you jump, you're actually pushing back against the ground a bit as you're jumping up, so that it's forcing that momentum you have to push you upwards as well as give you additional rotation. It's like if you're riding a skateboard and you suddenly stop, it's going to throw you forward and face plant, but we're going to use the physics of crashing on a skateboard to actually go into a side flip. So instead of letting it throw you into the ground and face plant, you're going to be jumping and then controlling the flip, so you flip all the way around back onto your feet. So the basic technique for a side flip, whether you're doing it on a trampoline, off a springboard, off a ledge, is to focus on your chest. Now this is going to sound a little bit gruesome, but you almost want to imagine that you've gotten impaled by a log or something and you're rotating on that axis as you do a side flip. A common problem people have when learning side flips is that they'll actually turn their chest too much as they're going into the side flip, causing them to do almost a 180 or more of a barrel roll style side flip. When really it's all about centering your chest so that as you flip on that axis and you can actually stay facing one direction the entire time. Now that's a proper side flip. Now there's different variations on the angle you take off if you do twist or land certain ways, but for the basic learning a side flip, you want to keep your chest centered. And so going into that motion, what I like to do on my takeoff is I usually am not starting out directly like this unless I'm just standing. Generally, depending on the way I'm flipping, I'll kind of start in that direction slightly so that I can have the momentum going into it. And then as I take off, I'm going to kind of lock my chest into that position as I'm jumping, and then it's from there I'm going to rotate into the side flip. So the steps getting into that are: one, your takeoff, you're going into it from here. Two, your arms. Now how I like to use my arms doing the side flip is I like to lead with one arm, kind of like I do a front flip takeoff, but the other arm is going to be down here, kind of giving me lift from back here as well as rotation. And so those two motions together are kind of what convert into the sideways flipping motion. And the idea with the tuck is that you're bringing your knees up to your chest. You're driving one leg and then the other to kind of help add to that rotation. Remember during the rotation that you want to pull your knees in hard. The tighter you can tuck and the harder you pull that around with kind of a snapping motion as you bring your knees up to your chest, the faster you'll rotate. And then as you come around for the landing, you can either land on both feet or you can land in kind of a kick-out, depending on the style you're going for. The main thing with that is that you spot the ground so you know where you're at, and then it's just a matter of timing. You're opening and landing on your toes as you come out for the landing. If you are just trying to learn a standing side flip, it's important that you exaggerate having a tall chest and then snapping super hard into that side flip, because you don't have any momentum going into the side flip. And so from just standing, you want a tall jump, tall chest, and then wham, you're gonna snap that flip as fast as you can to get it around. For a gather step side flip technique, you're still going to be applying the physics of a block, only instead of it being a punch with 2 feet as you jump, it's going to be spread out a little bit between your 2 feet. And what that allows me to do by splitting my legs like that as I jump is that as I take off from my right leg, I'm able to kick my other leg up to give me even additional power to flip me over. And then finally, if you're trying to learn Webster style side flip technique, it's going to be kind of similar to that gather step, only instead of having momentum going into both feet, you're primarily focusing on jumping off one leg and kicking the other leg as you jump into it. It's important once again to keep your chest up as you do this, but then as you kick that leg, you're going to want to allow that leg to lift your hips up and tuck your chest into the tuck to get it around as quickly as possible. Now, when also doing this move, I'm going to lead with my leg out in front of me, and then as I drop down for the kick, I'm going to allow my leg to get my hips up as my chest is dropping. But during this time, I don't want my chest to go past my front foot. I want my chest to stay back here because that's going to give me blocking technique to push me up in the air. Otherwise, if my chest is leaning too far forward as I do it, I'm just going to jump forward instead of getting proper height. Another method you can use to help you learn a side flip if you're just struggling with the technique and getting it around is to actually find an object that you're comfortable rolling on. Ideally something soft like in a gym, like a foam block or something like that, or you can have a friend squat next to you with their back lower and you roll over their back. Whatever you can find. It's ideally what you want to do is like you're going to be doing a side roll over the object, but you're going to keep practicing that and try and use the object less and less, and then over time you should reach the point where you can clear it completely without needing to use it to pop yourself around. So that's basically how you learn the different variations of a side flip. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions, and also let me know if there's any tutorials you'd like me to do or tutorials I've done before that you'd like me to redo. But otherwise, I got more videos coming soon, so stay subscribed and thanks for watching.